Welcome to this section of the TI-89 Calculator Tutor. In this section we're going to continue working with matrices, which we learned how to create in the last section. And specifically here we're going to finally learn how to use matrices. So here we're going to learn how to do things like matrix multiplication, taking the inverse of a matrix, things of that nature. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we need to know is that the matrices, the matrix operations, live in the math menu under number 4, matrix. So we can go down to number 4 and fly that out. And we see we have a whole list of things we're going to learn how to use in the next few sections. So that's where most of the operations live. It's easier when dealing with matrices. You don't have to do this, but it's easier to go ahead and store them in variables if you're going to be doing a lot of multiplications and inverses and things like that. So let's go ahead and create a few quick matrices just to go from there. So remember how we do that. We go second function bracket, and we can create a matrix. We'll call it 1, 2, 3. And we need to put a semicolon for the next line, 4, 5, 6. Now you could create this inside of the matrix editor, that's fine, but for such a simple matrix we can go ahead and do that. And let's go ahead and store that just for the sake of discussion in a variable that we're just going to call A. So we hit enter, and so now we have this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 matrix stored in location A. Now the first thing you might want to learn how to do when you study matrices is how to multiply a matrix by a scalar number. In other words, like 3 or something times the value of this matrix. And all that really does is multiply each element inside the matrix by the number that you have on the outside. So if you'd like to do that, you just pull it off just like straight multiplication. 2 times A. And you go ahead and hit enter. And there you go, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So what you do when you scalar multiplication of a matrix like this is you're literally multiplying each element inside your matrix by the number that you have on the outside. You can go 10 times matrix A, for instance. And you'll take your original matrix of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and make it 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So it's very simple. It's the first operation that you use when you're doing your matrix operations. All right. You know, much like a scalar multiplication, sometimes it's useful to negate a matrix, which is basically multiplying it by -1. So you could take -1 and multiply it, but the calculator understands if you just put a negative sign and then your matrix letter, even if you don't put the multiplication symbol there, it understands that you're trying to negate that matrix. So it's going to take your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it's going to put negative signs in front because that's you put a negative sign out there. All right. Now, in order to add matrices together or subtract them, the dimensions of the matrix that